What is up, guys? Pastor Matheny here, and thank you for joining me today in my study. So I was looking at a hymn this morning that just really caught my attention. This is from our hymnal, number 839, O Christ, our true and only light. It begins this way. O Christ, our true and only light, enlighten those who sit in night. Let those afar now hear your voice, and in your fold with us rejoice. Fill with the radiance of your grace the souls now lost in error's maze. Enlighten those whose inmost minds some dark delusion haunts and blinds. Now, this hymn is based, of course, on John chapter 8, verse 12, where Jesus says, Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. This is such a powerful image, the image of light and darkness that is used all throughout the scriptures, but who the poet, by the way, Johann Heermann, meditated on so beautifully in this hymn and in the following verses, even more so, to think of Christ as truly the light of the world. We would use that language about him all the time, but it's another thing to meditate on the fact that, in fact, Christ is our true and only light. The fact that we are able to see, and I mean literally with our eyes, is because of the light of Christ. The fact that we know what is true, that is fundamentally what is actually real about the universe, is only because we've been enlightened by Christ. If we didn't have him and we didn't have his light, it might look like we knew things that were true, but in fact, we would be lost, as the poet said again, in error's maze. To the extent that we know anything that is good, that actually is right and righteous about how we should conduct ourselves or about how the world should go, is only due to the light of Christ. There are many people in the world today, and of course have been throughout history, and there will continue to be many in the future, who think they know what is right. But without that light of Christ, who is in fact the only true and only light, they will be utterly lost and walk in darkness. They will have really no idea what is good, even if they have the appearance of knowing what is. To the extent that we know and recognize anything in this world as beautiful, from the tiny fingers of an infant to the majesty of a great oak tree, to the mesmerizing reality of a rushing river or a roaring ocean, or a beautiful painting or an enchanting piece of music, the only way that we can recognize any of those things is because we have been enlightened by Christ, who is in fact the true and only light. And to the extent that we, as his creatures, walk in any way according to the truth or the goodness or the beauty of this world, to the extent that we can recognize any of those things, it is only because Christ has shined on us. And he has illuminated those things for us. And if it weren't for him and what he had done in his creation of us and his redemption of us and his ongoing sanctification of us, we would be utterly lost in darkness. And one thing that's very interesting about the poetry, again, of this hymn is that several of these verses are concerned with those who currently walk in darkness. It's not just a meditation on and a celebration of the fact that I have the light, but it's an expression of the desire that those who now are lost, again, in the phrase of the poet, in error's maze, that Christ's light would shine on them, that they would come and join with us in praising God and rejoicing in the light that He is and that He has given to all of us. So again, I was just pondering these things today in my study, and I thought I would invite you along for the journey. I hope this has been enlightening for all of you, as it has been for me, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again soon. Peace.